Hello everyone, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. So we have an update regarding UScellular's Q1 earnings. So it looks like things are still not great at UScellular. Looks like they took another loss, losing 47,000 postpaid wireless phone customers in Q1 on top of multiple quarters of losses, of course. By the way, the link for this article can be found for you down below in the description. It is coming from Fierce Wireless, or what they're now calling Fierce Network. So here's what's going on. So we got the update Q1. Looks like during the earnings call, UScellular President and CEO Laurent Therivel pointed out a few bright spots. So even though they've lost 47,000 postpaid wireless phone customers, they did say that their RPU is much higher, that the customers that are there are moving to higher price plans. Now, I'm not sure if that's because they're throwing in a bunch of bundles, and that's where I think UScellular is still able to kind of capitalize. They're able to offer, good bundling packages. And I think that that's a lot of what their strategy is going to be for a while. And that goes for cable in general. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this with companies like Spectrum and Comcast, UScellular. We're going to start seeing traditional companies really stack the bundles. I think that's really their only chance to compete with MVNOs and other large wireless carriers and cable companies. They're going to have to start stacking like they've never stacked before to pique the interest of their customers, remaining customers, and certainly to try to bring in new clientele. They're going to have to offer deals like they've never offered before. Now, I said that recently in a video that I did regarding Comcast and Spectrum losing tons of customers. I think really the only way companies can compete in today's market without everyone leaving and cutting the cord is you're going to have to offer things that you never offered before, and you're going to have to get aggressive with your pricing. And that might mean that for a little while, you might not really make much profit, but it might pan out in the future. It might pan out in the long run if you can play your game smart and just do your math properly. But again, that's not a promise. It's just really the only strategy companies are really being offered today. It's really all they have because it's such an aggressive market right now. Things are so competitive. They don't really have a choice. If they want to stay in business, they're going to have to bite the bullet, and they're going to have to take in a little less profit and give more to the customers, because customers, it's kind of a mixed bag. There are some loyal customers that will stick with companies throughout the mess. They're very loyal. Maybe they feel like some kind of attachment to the company, like they've been with them for a very long time. So there's some kind of love there for the company, especially if you've never had any negatives. If you've been with UScellular for a long time and the service has worked really good for you and they've treated you good, maybe you've had no negative issues and maybe some positives, you might be willing to stay with them. But there's a lot of customers that are just going to jump ship to whatever deal is best. If the next company is going to give you more data for less money, you're on it. If you're going to get some kind of free streaming service along with your service and it's the same price, you're on it. Everybody's different, right? Not all customers are created equal. So this is interesting here. But there's still, even with the losses of customers leaving, they still have not mentioned any updates on potential sale of the company. Now, a lot of you are waiting to hear what's going to happen there because you're expecting it. With the continued loss, even if they're still able to kind of capitalize, everyone still feels there's a sale. There was a brief discussion about it last year where they hinted that they might just off the company and sell it. And then, of course, comes, well, who is going to buy it? Will it be T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, Dish? I've even heard some suggest that maybe Google Fi can get in on it and start to purchase that spectrum, or at least some of it, so that they can build out their own network and not rely on T-Mobile, etc., right? Now, that would be really smart for Fi to get in on it. Google certainly has the money, and they have an interest, obviously, in the wireless business. Imagine if they can start to build out their own network. We know that Dish isn't doing so well, so maybe Google might be interested in becoming the fourth largest carrier, right? You got to start somewhere. It's not like Google doesn't have a footprint already, right? There are customers that are using Google Fi service, their MVNO. So Google was to start building out their own networks, their own towers, etc. There's already a footprint for them. There's a lot of customers. There's a big base already that are on their network that would certainly want to try a native Google Fi network, right? Maybe, perhaps. So that's interesting. I think personally, given that UScellular is so large, they have such a large footprint, I don't think it will go to one specific carrier. It's got to be broken up and distributed to at least 2, if not 3 carriers. Depends on who expresses their interest, of course, who really wants it. T-Mobile will most likely want to get their hands on some of that spectrum, certainly. Verizon, maybe. Not sure so much about AT&T. They're moving slow. I don't know if they want to spend the money right now on that because they're certainly doing things very consciously when it comes to their budget. They're being very cautious. So I don't know. They might want some of it. I don't think it can go to one. I think it would be certainly unfair for it to all go to T-Mobile. Whether they want it and can afford it or not is completely out of the question. It doesn't matter. I don't think that they can get all that spectrum. It would pretty much just destroy wireless competition. At that point, it's just too much for T-Mobile to own all of that. I don't think it would be fair. I actually don't want to see it all go to them. I think it would be more fair to kind of have it spread out. Remember, this will also take a very long time before all this is settled and sorted out. It could take years. There's all the regulations that have to be put into place. There's just so much that would have to be done before it would even be finalized anyway. But I don't think it will all go to T-Mobile. They just inherited a bunch more spectrum from Mint and Ultramobile. I just don't see it happening. I'm still surprised that T-Mobile was able to get Mint and Ultra to begin with all the mergers that they've already been, given. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it will be distributed. You can let me know down below your thoughts. I did a poll about this about a month ago asking you guys what you thought, and I think you agree that it would be distributed through, a couple of carriers. And I don't know who all those carriers are. Only time will tell if indeed UScellular decides to sell. Being that they're still kind of raising some money here, it might take a while before they give up. I think their next strategy, and what we're hearing here, is that they may just try to pump up the vibes within the company and start bundling, offering more bundling deals to their current customers and probably try to use that to attract new potential clients as well. Like I said, it's really all they have, not much more that they can do. And I guess if that doesn't work out and they're still declining in profits and customers, then we might be seeing a potential sale. So I don't know. Things could look different by the end of the year. We're about 6 months, a little over 6 months away from the end of the year. And by that time, UScellular could take a really big dive and they could be like, we're done. We want out. We want to start a potential sale. And then we might see what happens. Then we'll see who's interested. T-Mobile has expressed some bit of interest. I think Verizon might have made a comment or two that they might be interested. Again, I don't know about AT&T. Don't recall if they're expressing any interest, and I just don't know if it's in their budget. They might want some of that. Like I said, it's all up in the air. It can go anywhere. Dish is most likely not going to use any of that spectrum. They're just kind of hanging on by a thread at this point. Again, Google Fi, that would be good. Don't know if they want it, but I've read comments from people that have said that, they'd like to see Fi jump in and maybe build out their own network. And I think that's smart. I think if they're serious about the wireless industry, I think that would be a good start for them. They could use all that spectrum and, at least some of it. They're not going to get it all. And start building out, and we'd have some more competition, which I think is good. They're saying UScellular's Q1 net income was $18 million or 20 cents per share, which is lower than analyst estimates were of 25 cents per share. Operating revenue was $950 million. So the rival said that UScellular competes with cable's wireless offers in about 2/3 of its footprint and cable could get even more aggressive in pricing and promotions in coming months. So they're going to just really try to fine tune their pricing, offer more perks and benefits. And that's really what they're going to use. They're also saying that cable has the ability to bundle low-cost wireless with their fixed broadband products and offload an estimated 90% of their traffic to Wi-Fi, lowering their network costs and subsidizing bundles with wireline profits. So, yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, that's really the biggest thing that they can do is stack a bunch of different things. If you're a large household and you get your internet, you get your phone. If you're still using wireline, you can get home phone, internet, cable, and your cell phone, and pay less when it's all averaged out. If the service works good for you, that's gonna get some clients or maintain some clients, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to really make any new money. It might keep them holding on for a while. And then at some point, they'll probably just get frustrated when there's not enough profits to pay off their debts, which I believe is still very large. That's when we're probably going to start to hear about a sale. But it could take a while. Like I said, it could be 6 months. It could be a year. It could be a little longer. It really depends on what happens. See, the thing, too, is a lot of people do cut the cord, and then they find that it doesn't work as good for them, that the service isn't. They're paying less, but they're maybe not satisfied with their speeds they're getting or the service that they're getting. Maybe the signal isn't as good on the, whatever MVNO service that they go to. Maybe they don't feel like that priority is there, that QCI level. And then they jump back. They start to, realize, well, maybe it's worth paying a little more. And it does happen. Some customers will leave and go back. Many don't. Once they jump ship, they just kind of get used to it and stay. But there are some that do go back, and that's a potential sale for UScellular. Again, some customers might crawl back, and then they, that's kind of how they just stay afloat. It's not a regular thing, doesn't always happen, as mentioned, but it could happen. And maybe that's what they're hoping as well. So anyway, interesting stuff. It's really tough to say what's going to happen here. I think we just got to sit around and wait. As always, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.